Let's turn to business news now with Madison Reedy, who is on the other side of me in the Auckland studio. Hi, Madison. Welcome back. Freightways, we've talked about them earlier. They're independent driver model, career drivers. They announced their profit today. Do they expect, it was a slight increase year on year, wasn't it? Do they expect to do the same this financial year?
They do. So they posted a net profit today of $62.2 million. That's up about 2% on the financial year for 2017. So they're already well into this year's financial year
absolutely.
too for 2019. Now they obviously post their outlook for that next financial year, and they're cautious, which we expected. You know, we had kind of investment firms say that, you know, businesses, particularly ones like Freightways, that can be an economy bellwether. You know, their success almost depends on the success of the economy, because however many people are sending packages, and they also do business to business packages too. So that's their DX mail part of their business. So however much businesses are sending between each other impacts Freightways. So their outlook was, the word cautious is what they used, and so they cited business confidence in that. So they did obviously say that, you know, business confidence was something they were kind of watching and could possibly impact them, as we always say, if that actually transfers into action. And so they did say they are still targeting financial growth, but they used the term that's subject to factors beyond their control. And those factors are the likes of employment law reform, which could see wage inflation, wage costs go up, which
there's
you've
also
talked about tonight.
very industry-specific employment law reform, isn't there? And that's something we've been talking about a lot on Checkpoint, which is that if the government, or more immediately the employment court, says no, these guys aren't independent contractors, actually as the law defines it, the true nature of their work means they're employees, then that changes the whole ball game for companies like Freightways, doesn't it?
It could do. It obviously still depends on that judgment, but yeah, it certainly depends on that whole model. I mean, obviously they aren't considered their employees at the moment. That's how that contract model works.
Absolutely.
But if they do, then they have to factor in, like you were mentioning before, the likes of annual leave and holiday pay, sick leave, and all of that kind of thing that comes with being an employee of a company. So yeah, they also did talk about the tight labour market, excuse me, today as well. And they made that statement in regards to employment law reform and said Freightways will continue to monitor employment law reform. So they've noted that they are abiding by law and will continue to do so with changes. And they also flagged the cost of doing business as something that could impact them down the line. So fuel, the Auckland fuel tax too, and if that is, you know, it has been floated in other councils across the country. So if it is made nationwide, or at least picked up in other places, that could really impact Freightways. But they will pass that cost on to consumers. So it'll be you and I who are posting parcels to our family and friends on Christmas that'll feel the hit.
It's fascinating. Watch the space. Contact Energy didn't make as much of a profit this year as they did the year before. Why not, Madison?
Well, it's mostly due to hot weather. Also a bit of competition in the market as well. So they posted today a net profit after tax of $132 million. Now that's down 13% on the previous financial year. And that was mostly down to their operating earnings. So in their retail business, which is where they sell electricity, that was down about $9 million on the previous year. That's operating earnings, not net profit. And then it was also $13 million down in their generational business as well, so where they produce electricity. Now that was offset by lower operating costs. So they actually cut down some operations and actually made a bit of money there. So that was down 8%, and their dividend is going to be up 35%. So shareholders are still getting a little bit more money, regardless of less profit. And as you asked before, what was that down to? What was that slight drop in profit down to? It was because of a hot summer. Now, they have dams, water's in them. If it's a hot day and then a hot season, it dries up. Now, you may be having a bit of deja vu as well. This also actually happened the year previous, where they also didn't have enough storage in their gas facilities to make up for the shortage because of the weather. So one must ask, you know, how did the same mistake happen again? So I can be sure that's a question that some shareholders are going to ask, but they are getting paid a bit more, so they're not too unhappy.
Thanks, Madison. What happened on the markets today, particularly the Kiwi dollar? I know you're going to talk about the share market first, but boy, oh boy, I saw the dollar at some low levels.
2-year low it was last week. It's been throwing itself around a little bit. So the NZX Top 50 index fell nearly about 0.75%. So that's 66 points to close at 8945 today. The New Zealand dollar, it's currently buying at 65.8 US cents, 90.4 to the Australian, and 51.5 to the British pence. And also those share prices for the companies we just mentioned, Freightways, dropped about 0.2%, down 5 cents to $7.75. Contact was also down about the same amount, down 4 cents to $5.72 share price.
Madison Reedy, thank you very much indeed with today's business news.